If you use AI every day, you probably find yourself typing the same instructions and pasting the same background context over and over again, just to get the system to behave exactly the way you need it to. Google's Gemini Gems solve this problem. A gem is a permanent, highly customized AI assistant tailored to do one specific job. You pin these specialized assistants directly to your dashboard. Once set up, they operate strictly within the boundaries, knowledge, and rules you define. To build one, you need two things: a Gemini account with advanced enterprise or education access, and a blank Google Doc. Putting a few minutes into this initial setup process means you will never have to type those repetitive background instructions again. Building the instructions for your gem starts with a specific rule. You shouldn't write them entirely from scratch. Instead, we use standard Gemini to generate the baseline instructions. You act as the director, feeding standard Gemini a strict framework of what you want your new assistant to be. The first element of this framework is the intake protocol. You instruct Gemini to write rules forcing the gem to ask you specific questions, like your target audience or desired word count, before it generates any work. Next, you define the voice and constraints. You tell standard Gemini to establish exactly what persona the gem should adopt, and critically, the specific actions it is forbidden from taking, such as rewriting your text instead of critiquing it. Then you require instructional logic. This ensures the gem follows a structured, step-by-step thinking process rather than jumping straight to an answer. Finally, define your variables and output format. You instruct the framework to include blank placeholders for incoming data and mandate that the final answer must use bold headers, bulleted lists, or summary tables. Feeding this rigid framework to standard Gemini produces a prompt draft that accounts for logic gaps and formatting requirements that are difficult to track manually. Now that you have this draft, resist the urge to paste it directly into the Gem Builder interface right away. Instead, open a new Google Doc. Give this document a clear title that exactly matches the name you plan to give your final gem. Paste the generated instructions into this document. This gives you a clean space to review the logic and refine the specific rules. Ensure the document is logically organized. Use clear hierarchy, bold headers, and bullet points to separate the different rules and constraints. When your instructions are ready, use a Copy as Markdown function to extract the text. Markdown preserves the exact structure and hierarchy of your document, so the AI understands which rules are most important. Keeping your instructions in a dedicated master file makes it easy to go back, tweak a broken rule, and update your gem later without losing your carefully formatted logic. With your Markdown text copied, navigate to gemini.google.com. On the left sidebar, click Explore Gems, then select New Gem. Fill in the name and description fields. Make sure the name matches your Google Doc. The description acts as a quick reminder of the assistant's specific job as your library of gems grows. Click into the main instructions box and paste your perfectly formatted Markdown text directly into the field. Scroll down to the Knowledge section. This is where you give the gem its own source of truth, isolating it from the general internet. You can upload unchanging reference materials here: a 50-page brand style guide, a class syllabus, or your company's standard operating procedures all ensure the gem bases its work entirely on your uploaded data. Finally, configure the Tools section. By toggling on these extensions, you grant the gem permission to read live files from your Google Drive, search your Gmail, or pull transcripts directly from YouTube videos. Combining custom uploaded files with live ecosystem permissions turns this tool into a specialized workflow asset. Creating the ideal gem requires iteration. On your first run, the AI might ignore a specific constraint or format a table incorrectly. Use the preview window on the right side of the screen to run a quick test prompt and evaluate the output. If you spot an error, do not type corrections directly into the Gemini settings box. Instead, return to your master Google Doc, adjust the specific rule causing the issue, and copy the updated text as Markdown again. Bring that fresh Markdown back to the Gemini interface and paste it over your old settings to finalize the adjustment. Adhering strictly to this external editing loop ensures your instructions remain stable, organized, and easy to scale as you build more complex assistants in the future. Once the test output meets your standards, click Save. Check your left-hand sidebar to verify your new assistant is actively pinned and ready to work. You can now rely on this assistant to execute its specific role, operating within your defined rules without requiring manual context prompts. With the process established, you can start building an entire roster of dedicated assistants, from coding tutors to specialized email drafters. Mastering this entire architectural framework gives you the unprecedented ability to build and manage a system of personalized digital assets.